Hi, Nicholas and Sarah. It's Mom. I'm going to show you some of the parts of the recipes that I sent you that I thought you might not be sure of if you hadn't done it before. Nick, I know you've done some of this with Grandma and I before, but I just wanted to send it to you. So watch the video real quick and it'll show you some of the things that are in the recipes that you might not know that you were supposed to do, okay? Okay, so when you're making the crust, I just wanted to give you a little tip. You see how there's this kind of like bigger lump of Crisco right there? Okay, you still want to kind of smash those up and get them to be smaller before you incorporate the water, okay? So you will have the tablespoons of Crisco and they'll make some big lumps, and then you just want to keep mashing it and mashing it together with a fork until you get some fine crumbles, okay? And then you're going to add the water. Alright, so now it's all crumbly, so you're going to add the water in. And then you're going to mix it together. And eventually you're going to have to use your hands to mix this, okay? So I'm going to do that because it's hard for me to hold the phone in my hands, and then I'll show you. Okay, so you've got the water, and then you've got your hands in here, and you're incorporating it so you can feel the fat, the Crisco, and then you can feel how the water is bringing it together. And so you're going to just keep kind of scraping the sides of the bowl and just kind of kneading it together until you have a dough ball, okay? So just make sure that you're scraping the sides, and you don't want to over knead it, but you just want to make sure that you get it like incorporated. So just a few times, get it all incorporated, okay? Then once you have this nice dough ball, you're gonna let this sit while you make the filling, okay? And then you'll roll this out and this will become the pie crust. Okay, so for the dressing, I have canned biscuits right here. And then this was just packets of cornbread mix. So I had to mix it with milk. I used almond milk and eggs. You can see all my pumpkin pie filling and everything. So I cooked the cornbread in the pan that I'm gonna cook the dressing in eventually, because I don't like to make a lot of dishes. And then I just cooked the biscuits on foil. Again, no dishes. So I'm gonna have to let those cool before I can crumble them all together, okay? All right, so now my pie filling is made. That's it right there. I did use canned pumpkin this year. So I'm going to now get my dough out. I'm gonna flour this surface and then I'm gonna roll it out, okay? Okay, so floured surface, and then flour the rolling pin. And then put the dough out. There it is. And a little flour on both sides. And you kind of pat it down a little bit, and then you start to roll it with the rolling pin. Okay, so I'm not very good at this, not like Grandma was. I always get like cracks in mine on the outside. So you can kind of fix those. You can like patch them with crust. And then there, like, you see how that like pulled up? That's because my rolling pin is not floured enough. So I just need to make sure that I go back on and flour it. When I'm done, and I feel like it's big enough, I kind of like set it there and see if it's big enough. I'm going to roll it a little bit more. Then you divide it into fourths so that you can put it in the pan. Yeah, so as you can see, I really jacked this pie crust up. I'm not doing a very good job. But you'll see in a minute I'm going to patch it and it's going to be workable. Okay. Ta-da! It's Frankenstein's monster of a crust. And I can see a little hole I've got there that I need to fix. But just kind of dabbing it around with your finger and fixing the holes and putting some pie crust in. And I made a lip around it, and it's crumbly and everything, but oh well. So now I'm gonna put the filling in and put some foil around it. All right, so the filling comes up pretty high, and that's why I like to make like the pie crust kind of stand up pretty high. And so then I'm just gonna go around with some strips of foil and just cover up the crust so that it doesn't get too dark while it's baking, because it bakes for almost an hour. Okay, so I wanted to show you for the celery. So this celery that I cut the ribs into like 3 or 4 pieces and then cut them so that they're small. That's gonna be for the pea salad. Then this, I just cut the ribs down because I like a bigger piece. You could cut it in half if you want to and then cut it, and then that's gonna go in the butter in the microwave for the dressing, okay? And I'm doing all of this while the pie is baking so that I can prep veggies and stuff while the pie is baking. Okay, ta-da! Pea salad is done. Has a little more cheese in it than I would normally add because I had like some left over in the block, and so I just went for it. Oh, fly. I'm gonna get that. But yeah, pea salad. Okay, so here's the biscuits and the cornbread. So as you can see, I've shredded them up. I just used my hands and I just made them into like smaller pieces. Just kind of pulled them apart. Obviously the cornbread shreds much easier. So now I'm gonna mix these two together, put the seasoning and the egg, and then I'm gonna put the hot mixture of the onion, celery, butter, and broth that I've warmed up in the microwave, okay? All right, so here's the pie. It's been cooking for about 40 minutes. So I took off the foil so that I can cook it a little bit longer. I have a couple of little steam hole pockets in there, but it looks pretty good overall. All right, so this is the chicken stock and the butter and stuff from out of the microwave. And then I'm just gonna pour it over the top, and then I'm gonna mix it with a fork, not with my hands because it's very hot from coming out of the microwave. I already mixed the eggs in. The eggs are mixed in there. I mixed that with my hand. All right, so you want this to be pretty soaked. I don't feel like it's soaked enough because it's gonna dry out a lot when you bake it, because you are gonna bake it so that it becomes almost like a savory bread pudding is basically what stuffing is. So I'm actually just gonna put some cold broth on it just to make sure that it soaks up real good. I just want extra broth, but I like to add as much as I think there might need and then add more, because I don't want it to be too mushy or then it'll never firm up, okay? So you're looking for it to be fairly soggy, but not too soggy, which I know is kind of a hard determination. But you don't want to see liquid like pooling at the bottom. So you want to keep stirring if there's liquid pooling at the bottom, okay? So then I'm all prepping this all the day before, and then I'll cook it all tomorrow. Okay, I hope all that stuff helped. Now I have dishes to clean up and stuff to do, but I prepped and I hope I showed you some time management stuff. And let me know if this was helpful.